Assalamu alaikum children, and welcome to another episode of Qasasul Atfal. My name is Samira and I'll be keeping you company in my kitchen for the next hour. Now this is our special time where we get to learn the fun way. We read stories and we watch cartoons and we learn about everything around us. Come a little closer, hold my hand. Let's go to that secret place where there's no adults allowed. Let's learn about Islam and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let's dream about Jannah and find ways to make Allah happy. Today, children, let's start off with a cartoon. I'll be here waiting. Don't be too long. Welcome back, children. Did you enjoy that? Let's go watch another cartoon now. And when we come back, we'll be baking. Stay tuned. Welcome back, children. Today we'll be making some $1 million cupcakes. We'll be making cupcakes in different flavors, all from one easy recipe. Do you know how to do that? Today, inshallah, I'll show you. The first thing you're going to need is some milk, some butter, some eggs, vanilla essence, baking powder, caster sugar, and some mixing bowls and blenders. It's as easy as that. Now for the toppings and to make it so different, we'll be using other ingredients, but I'll take you to that a little bit later. Let's see, children, what's the first thing that we need to do? The first thing we're going to do is take some caster sugar and measure out 1 1/4 cups. Do it with me, children. The first thing is to take your caster sugar and some measuring cups. Now I have one that's 1/4 cup and one that's a 1 cup. Let's use these now. We simply take it and pour it into our measuring cups. Now remember, children, this needs to be exact. This is a 1/2 cup, so we need 2 of these to make 1 cup, and then we have the 1/4. Let's carry on measuring. We're going to pour it in until it's just right. Remember to have it equal and out flat. There we go. That's a 1/2 cup. Let's throw it into our blender. Let's pour another one now to make it 1 cup. There we go. We have little sugar lumps, but it's okay. We'll take it out soon. Remember to always measure and make sure that it's flat. Did you wash your hands before you did that? Let's pour it in. We pour it in slowly so that we don't make a mess. Let's sort out the last one now. We take 1/4 cup more because our recipe said 1 1/4 cup sugar. Here we go. We pour it in slowly so that we don't make a mess. Let's pour it in now. There we go. And just like that, we're done with the caster sugar. What's the next thing we need to do now? Let me show you. Let's put this away and get the rest of our ingredients. The next thing is 250 grams of butter. Now this is butter that's been softened. What butter do you use? Ask mommy or daddy or your bigger brother or sister to help you. Let's take our spatula now and put our butter in. There we go. we're putting our butter into our blender with our caster sugar. Now we can let it blend, and then it's going to get nice, soft and creamy. We don't want to waste anything, so make sure you get everything on. There we go, just like that. Let's put our lid on now so that we can blend our butter and sugar nicely. Remember, we want to make it nice and creamy. There we go, nice and creamy. What's the next thing that we need to do? The next thing, children, is to take 1 cup of milk and throw it into our blender. Let's do that now. There we go. We take our 1 cup of milk, measured out nicely, and pour it in. Just like that. Now we know that Muslims don't waste, so let's take our spatula and take out every little drop. There we go, just like that, nice and clean, mashallah. What's the next thing we're going to do? The next thing now is to take our eggs, break them and put them into our blender with our milk, caster sugar and butter. Let's do that now. Let's take our 5 eggs now. Will you count with me, children? 1. Into our jug like that. Let's do another one now. 2. There we go. Number 3. Let's do number 4 now. That's 4 eggs. And how many did we say? We said 5. So let's do one more. And that's number 5. And just like that, children, we have 5 eggs that are ready to go into our blender. Let's do that now. We simply take our eggs and throw it in. We take our spatula and we remember to clean up the jug because we don't want to waste. What's the next thing we're going to do now? Let's put it on and blend it again. We take our lid, put it on top, and then blend it nice and flat. There we go. Now while we're waiting for it to get blended, I hope you make the dhikr of Allah, because when you remember Allah, everything will turn out well. Let's blend it a few seconds more. But first, before we blend it, let's wipe around the edges of the blender so that nothing gets stuck. Let's do that now. We're going to scrub along the edges just like that, so that everything gets mixed in. What did we put inside here? We had our eggs, we had our caster sugar, we had our butter, and not forgetting our milk too. Let's give it a chance to blend for a few more seconds right through. There we go. That's perfect. The next thing we're going to do now is to take some vanilla essence and put it in. How much vanilla essence do we need? Just 1 cap is enough. Let's do that now. We take our vanilla essence and we use the cap to measure just 1 cap full to throw it into our blender. Just like that. I can get the smell already. Can you? There we go. The next thing we're going to do now is to leave it in for a few seconds while we go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll finish up our little batter. Stay tuned. children. Now the next thing we're going to do is take 3 cups of flour and put it into our blender. Now I've already measured it out, and make sure when you're measuring, your eye level is perfect when you look at it, so that way you don't make any mistakes. We throw our 3 cups of flour into our blender. There we go. Right. The next thing and the last thing for now that we're going to do is take our baking powder. Now for our baking powder, we need 5 teaspoons. Will you count with me? Let's count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 more, and 5. There we go. Now children, we're going to let this mix. It will mix very well before we put it into our tins. But children, look around us. It's so messy, I don't like it. So while we put this to blend, let's quickly tidy up. There we go, children. Our cake batter's ready. But what do we do with it now? Let me show you. We're going to take our baking tin now and take some of our cupcake holders and line them in. As you can see, I've already done it. The next thing we're going to do now is take our cupcake mixture, open it up, and fill it into our cupcake holders. Let's do that now. We simply take a little bit. I like to use a scoop, and then I use a tablespoon to make it a little cleaner. And we simply fill it in, just like that. Now we make sure we fill it 3/4 of the way up, so that we know our cupcakes are nice and fat. There we go. We simply pour it into our holders. Let's do another one now. While we're doing it, what must we say? Let's say Subhanallah. Let's say Alhamdulillah. Let's say Allahu Akbar. Now children, I know you must be wondering, why did we say that we're going to have different toppings? Well, watch what I'm going to do. We're going to leave this 6 plain, but this 6 is going to have something special. Let's fill it up, and then I'll tell you what the secret surprise is. I can smell this mixture. It's so yummy. It's making my tummy rumble. I'm hungry. Right, let's fill up the 6 and then we can move on. While we're filling it, don't forget to make the dhikr of Allah. And just like that, we're almost done. Now children, this is a very big recipe, so it can make lots and lots of yummy cupcakes. How many did you make? Why not send me an email of it on samira@itvnetworks.tv. Now let's fill the last one for this tray. Just like that. It smells so good in here. Let's put that aside for the moment. Right, children, so what was our yummy surprise? Here it is. It's top-decked chocolate. This is chocolate that has the brown at the bottom and the white on top. It's making my mouth water. But how do we mix the top deck with the cupcakes? Let me show you. Now for this, you'll need an elder person like your mummy or daddy or your bigger brother or sister to help you. Little children can't use such big knives on their own. The first thing we're going to do is take our chocolate and chop it up. Just like that. Now we want to break it into tiny little pieces. If you want, you can break it into halves or quarters, whatever you like. We're going to take the chocolate, put it into the mixture, and press it flat. Let's do another one now. We press it into the mixture and press it flat. Let's do another one now. This one is still together, so I'm going to break it in half. And we put it in and press it flat. Just like that. Isn't this making you hungry? Let's put it into the rest now. We can make another tray plain, but I know everyone loves the chocolatey ones. So we'll do just that. There we go. And we put it in and press it flat. What's the next thing we need to do, children? We're going to take our tablespoon that we were working with and press it over so that the batter covers up the chocolate, just like that. What, children? Doesn't it look so yummy? We're not putting any extra batter. We're using the same one that we already had. We're just moving it around and pressing the chocolate flat. Just like that. And this is one of the big surprises. I have more surprises for you. Must I tell you what it is? Let's first put this into an oven of 180 degrees until they're nice and golden brown on top. Now, depending on how fast Mommy's oven is, that's how long it will take. I'm going to ask my grown-up helper to put it into the oven for me. We'll be right back. Children, I've just put the cupcakes into the oven now. But what are we going to do with this batch since it's such a big recipe? I know what we can do. We can put this batter and this chocolate into the fridge and use it another day. And when you see, you'll understand why we mixed the batter and the chocolate and kept it for a separate day. Let's go read a story now while we wait for our cupcakes to bake. Welcome back, children. The whole house is smelling so yummy. Those cupcakes are in the oven. While we're waiting for them to bake, let's read a story. Before we start though, I'd like to introduce you to someone. This is little Bibbles. He's my favorite friend. But you my favorite too, you know. Bibbles is here to listen to a story. Do you think he'll lay still and listen long enough to get the lesson? I hope so. This story is called The Stranger. A passerby once entered a masjid while the Maghrib prayers were being read. He joined the congregation. After the prayers, the people noticed there was a newcomer and they crowded around him. Now these people were very generous towards their guests, and when they noticed how thin he was, they immediately offered to bring him some food. But when he was brought some food, the stranger said, "I cannot eat it." He was told the food was homemade and cooked with only a little oil so that it was healthy, but he still didn't want to eat the food. "I'm sorry, I can only eat the food that's totally halal." These days, our society is so mixed up that we don't know whether we're eating haram or halal food. And also, if we eat haram food, Allah will not accept our du'as. That's why I can't eat any food until I'm totally happy. The man was brought food and said, "How can you even say my fruit is haram? I'm honest and I don't steal." The person said, "Is your business totally interest-free?" "I can't answer that because sometimes I borrow from people and have to pay interest," said the man. "Then I'm sorry, I can't eat your food." So the fruit seller went away. Another person came and he said, "I'm a doctor. I earn my money well, and so you can eat my food." After hearing his story, he didn't refuse and he didn't eat the food. The doctor said, "Why?" He said, "I can't eat the food of people who use interest." Children, do you use interest in your bank or when you borrow money or lend someone money? I hope not, because then your food won't be halal. Let's go on with the story now. The person after person after person was refused the food, and soon the poor man hadn't eaten the whole night. He was so hungry. Then, all of a sudden, each person kept feeding someone and asking for someone to eat the food, but there wasn't anyone. Till finally, everyone started changing. The doctor said, "I'll change my ways." The fruit seller said, "I'll change my ways." And slowly, one by one, they all learned their lesson, till finally the man could eat. They went to the masjid to tell him that they had learned their lesson. And the stranger fell into sajda. He thanked Allah and said, "My job is well done." He then left the masjid. The next morning, the people went to thank him, to say Jazakallah for teaching us good habits. But the man was already gone. He used a good method, didn't he? Instead of telling the people that he had to make sure he didn't eat interest, instead he taught them by means of action. Now, children, this story teaches us an important lesson. If we want to do something or teach someone something, then don't tell them what to do. Show them instead. The best lesson to learn is a lesson by which you practice and not preach. Will you remember that? Okay, children, let's go for a quick break while I go take those yummy muffins out of the oven. Stay tuned. Look, children, our cupcakes are ready. They must be so yummy, but they're too hot to taste. Remember, these are the cupcakes with the chocolate inside. Now, inshallah, next time I see you, we're going to take the same batter and the same chocolate and turn these yummy cupcakes into chocolate cakes. I can't wait. Will you be watching? But we've come to the end of another show. Don't worry, we'll be back again soon. Don't forget to email me on samira@itvnetworks.tv. Until next time, fi amanillah, assalamu alaikum and bye.